welcome. Brand new intro. How'd you like that? Getting a little slick. How's that for the ability to try to become tech savvy? Hello and welcome, Coach Beede. Tuesday night live Q&A. Let's go down the list. First and foremost, thank you for joining me. I've had a lot of great conversations with parents and athletes over the last 6 days. I've met a few families recently that came into the great area of the northeast of Boston, the North Shore, as we call it. Again, this is a live Q&A, and this is going to answer your questions. So if you have a question throughout the broadcast that you would like me to answer, please go ahead, and if you're on Facebook or X or Instagram, which I hope is playing live. In fact, if you're watching via Instagram, send me a message to know that you're seeing me on the gram or on the Insta. Obviously, I would encourage you to watch over on the YouTube channel. I would love for you to engage over on the YouTube channel. Engage. I mean, I can't stress this enough. If you're watching this, thumbs up, comments, anything and everything over on the YouTube channel to help continue as we approach 30,000 subscribers, and I need your help. As always, I want to bring to your attention, have spoken with a lot of college coaches this week. One of the topics is the Proline balls. They're back and in stock now. The inventory has been replenished. The demand has been strong. A lot of facilities and a lot of college coaches are switching over to the Proline ball. One, its durability. Two, its consistency. And three, it allows for high velocity training. The Proline ball, it simulates the velocity that you're going to see in game, offensively, defensively, but more importantly, it's going to reduce the risk of injury. Parents, you have a hack attack at home, you have a jugs machine at home. Facility owners, travel ball organizations, you have a facility, you have hack attacks, you go through baseballs, and those baseballs are expensive. Trust me, I know, and I want you to understand. No seams are going to rip. No leather is going to get scarred up or scratched up. Proline ball, with and without seams, both baseball and softball. Durable. They offer true ball flight. And most importantly, they give you positive feedback as a hitter. If they're good enough for MLB players, they're good enough for Division I programs, prolineballs.com. Use the discount code down below and order your Proline balls. Okay, who's watching? Where are you watching from? Let me know. Point me in the right direction. I want to know where you're watching from tonight. I would love to start to get a representation of all the states. So that's our question tonight. What state are you watching? I know sometimes I'll get Hawaii. I sometimes will get places like Alaska and Wyoming, Wisconsin. So let me know where you're watching tonight. I want to let parents know that this time of year is a silent period with most of college baseball. Student athletes are back on campus. College coaches, some are doing individual work, some are doing their team work. But I've had a chance to kind of speak with college coaches from a lot of different levels. NAIA, NCAA, talked to Abilene Christian, talked to Cooper Fouts at Louisiana Tech, talked to Lewis and Clark College out in Portland, Oregon. So all over the country, all of the coaches, I'm getting some answers to some questions that I'm getting from parents, and that's where we're going to start tonight. And I think it's important for parents to understand, like this time of the year, the fall, there's a little bit, you get antsy. Your athletes are back in school. If they're juniors and seniors, you're starting to think about, okay, college, am I too late? How am I going to get seen? Things like that. If you're an underclassman, you're all concerned about exposure. If I don't play fall ball, I'm going to miss out. If I don't play fall ball or go to a camp, they're not going to see me. We're going to discuss a lot of that tonight, and I want to answer your questions. I'm going to try to keep this as succinct as possible because I am being told that when I go over 30 minutes, it's actually hurting the YouTube channel. If you want me to stick around, I need you to let me know. Comment over on YouTube. Scott is in Kansas. Jackson in San Antonio, the Riverwalk. JD in Texas. We seem to be popular in Texas. Arizona. All right. JD, when you say should be an interesting content show, what is it that you're hoping that I discuss? Stephen in Virginia, thank you very much. I appreciate, a lot of you watching tonight, and I really appreciate your questions during the week. And I think the number one theme that came back this week was parents. There are a lot of parents that watch, and I don't know. And it's really humbling. And I'm honored when I talk to someone in Wisconsin or I talk to a parent that's been watching for the last several months and kind of took some of the advice. And now they're on the backside and they said, wow, we didn't really think it was going to work out that way, but wow, it was really a great experience. And I'm referring to people that maybe didn't chase this summer and kind of stayed local, played local leagues, and spent time in the weight room or with regard to foot speed, even skill set development. So that makes me feel great inside. And I'm honored that there are people that, that are kind of seeking that type of content and information out. But when I am talking with the college coaches and I say, okay, juniors and seniors, let's start there. What am I telling parents? Give me your reality today. Like, we know it's different. We know it's unique. We know the settlement has come and gone. The caps are in, the opting in, opting out, things of that nature. But give me your reality that I can pass on to to parents as it pertains to their college hopes or their student athletes' goals. And the number one feedback that I've been getting is that college coaches now are looking to recruit athletes that can impact their roster for next spring. Meaning, if I'm bringing in a high school student athlete, we've heard, Peter Hughes from Kansas State. We've heard coaches say in a very succinct, matter-of-fact way that if I'm going to recruit a high school athlete, a high school graduate, they have to have the ability to impact a roster for the following spring. So in this case, if I'm an incoming 2025 high school graduate, in the spring of 26, that coach has to know in some way, shape, or form that the student athlete is going to impact the roster, obviously in a positive capacity, whether it's on the mound, at the plate, between the lines, etc. And so that tells me that, this shift, for lack of a better term, is really beginning to go up and down the ladder. And a lot of college coaches watch these events. They watch, and I do get feedback. And again, I'm humbled and I'm honored, and I really am grateful for the feedback that those coaches give me. But what I want to get across to parents is, when there are 2 points to tonight's discussion. First is resources. When we begin the process of truly kind of going to a direction with a purpose, meaning our goal is from an academic, athletic, geographic perspective, when we start to break down college opportunities, we have to begin to understand, we have to give our student athletes the resources and the information that it truly takes to be a college rostered student athlete. And a lot of times, I don't think parents and student athletes at the high school level are aware that if I take the approximate, let's just use NCAA and NAIA. Those are 4-year schools, right? NAIA Division 1 and 2, NCAA Divisions 1, 2, and 3. If I just take that grouping, and we don't discuss JUCO at the moment, either in California or the NJCAA, and we just talk 4-year schools, we are talking approximately 30, and we're going to call it 40,000 student athletes that are playing 4-year baseball. And it could be 5 in a year or two. But what we don't think about is half of those roster spots, so we'll call it 20,000, are pitchers. The other 20,000 are position players. Now, of the 20,000 position players, we have approximately 10 that are spectators with a uniform on, and we have 10,000 participants. Let's call it 15,000 in a uniform as a spectator and 15,000 that are active, that are, getting into a lineup. 15,000 active 4-year college athletes. Now, again, active meaning you're starting, you're participating, you're DHing, you're a pitcher, you're coming in from the bullpen, etc. Position players, outfielders, infielders, catchers. I want to make sure we're clear. And so if you have to, you want to go to a school that is going to allow you the opportunity to be a player. Okay, we've heard coaches use physicality. We've heard coaches use mental toughness. We've heard coaches use routine. But when are you implementing that as a family, as a student athlete? And I have someone every week. I get about 5 to 10 people that are upset. They don't agree with me. They use colorful language. No problem. I don't feel the need to share that, but I will tell you that does happen. And I want to state clearly for the record, as we're talking about preparation for college, travel ball and perfect game are two different entities. Two different entities. And there are a lot of travel ball teams that don't chase perfect game. They have made this transition into this developmental model that is truly preparing athletes for the competitive nature of college athletics, and kudos to them. And then there's the perfect game model, which is more what I call the Wizard of Oz. And, we think, and I'm just saying it's perfect game, because at 8 years old through 18 years old, we are led to believe a series of events. We have to go to these tournaments. We have to be ranked. We have to do this showcase. We have to pay $500 here, $600 there. We're going to pay $3,000 to go to Georgia, into Georgia, and we think that these resources are leading us to the college ranks. And I just want to be clear, there's a big division between travel ball and perfect game. Now, I'm not going to sit here and argue and tell you as a parent where to spend your money, how not to spend your money, but resources, mentors, coaches, competition, all of those things. You're not guaranteed in any capacity if you go to a showcase that there's going to be X amount of coaches. But as a parent, aren't you tired of going to tournaments, always looking around to see who's got the logo, who's got the hat, what team are they from, how long are they staying, who are they watching, why did they leave so early? After that pitcher gets done, all of them get up and go. And they don't get a chance to see my son. But you told me that those guys were going to come here and watch all of these games, but yet you see them get up and walk around. And you're always looking around, eyes in the back of your head, trying to look for college coaches and scouts. We don't need validation at 12 through 17 as to skill sets. I'm pretty sure if you ask your student athlete, they can tell you where they belong in a lineup. They can tell you where they belong within a team. They know who's really good. It's no different than when dinosaurs roamed the earth and we choose sides at recess for kickball or wiffle ball. The good guys went early and the not so good guys, of which I was one of them, get picked last. And if I were to say to you as a parent or you as a student athlete, hey, it's the fall, but you are at high school, you're a junior or senior, you tell me what you think the lineup's going to be next year. And within a player or two or a batting order, you're going to get it right. So the coaches aren't to blame. It's the development piece and the resources? Are you utilizing the resources that are available to you to maximize who your student athlete is capable of becoming? Because as I alluded to, college coaches are looking for guys that are going to make an impact on the wins and loss column of a college program. That goes for Division III. That goes for Division II and NAIA. And I have a news flash for you. And I say this every week, but I keep getting pushback, so I want to push back myself. You may want to go to a Division I school. You may want to go to a certain school, but does that school want you? Because if it's not reciprocal, you're going in. It's almost like heartache is on deck. You just don't know when it's coming, but it's coming. So wouldn't you want to go where you're wanted? That should be the difference. Where you need to go, where you fit. And so college coaches now are becoming very forthright and very forthcoming with regard to, this is what I'm looking for. Division III coaches, Walt, we're looking for what everybody else is looking for. We're looking for the fallbacks coming out of the portal at Division I and Division II. And those are the guys we're really looking for. And then we'll fill in, with other guys out of the JUCO graduate ranks, and then the postgraduate ranks, and then the high school athletes. And so resources. One of the most valuable resources that you've heard me talk about time and time again is time. Time. Do you know that, and I know this now as a dad of two sons, 35, 33, they have their own families, they're married, they live in Texas. I always thought my boys would grow up and we'd, live in the area and holidays and watch ball games together, and it would just be, life ever after. Well, somebody said this to me when I was 35, and I didn't believe them. And they said, Walt, when you get older, I know you see your kids every day and you guys do everything together. But when you get older, you're going to see your sons after the age of 30, between 30 and, whenever the big guy calls you upstairs to the dugout upstairs, a cumulative total of 1 year. So I want you to think about that time. I'm going to see my sons, be in their presence over the next, from the age of 30 until when I'm 80, 85, whenever a checkout line occurs. I'm going to be in their physical presence a grand total of 1 year. Whether it's a holiday or we visit. But, they live in Texas. I live in Boston. And that's just, and they have their lives. They have their careers. They go different places. So time is a resource that you're trading or you're selling away, giving away. And I want you to understand that that resource is probably the most valuable resource in this whole process. And so as parents of that 8 to 18-year-old, but really let's talk about the 12 to 18-year-old, stop wishing your 12-year-old away. Don't wish time away. They're going to get to high school. High school's coming with or without your, anticipation. It's going to happen. High school, and then you want to think about college, but enjoy high school, because once college is gone, that's kind of like a wrap. There's no more team sports. There's no more of that energy, and you're waiting for the grandchildren and go through their process, but it's not quite the same. Resources. Don't give away time. Don't wish away time. How are you spending your time? How are you spending your time as a family, as a student athlete, in order to best prepare for college? I get a big kick out of people who want to tell you they have the answer because this happened to me, so therefore it's going to happen to you. That's not the case. What happened with my boys, what happened with me, is not applicable in today's world. Technology changes, needs change, the industries change. And when I say industries, industry of college, industry of travel, industry professionally, the industries change. And you have to evolve, adapt, and overcome those changes. And one of the biggest changes that is occurring right in front of us is that college coaches now are evaluating now talent. These men are responsible for 30 to 60 student athletes, depending upon the school, depending if they have a developmental or a JV program. They are responsible. They are accountable to their coaching staff, to their student athletes, to their athletic department, to their university. And they no longer can wish upon a star. They no longer can do a solid for some guy saying, hey, can you just take him, and then if it doesn't work out, redshirt him, or whatever, but just do me a solid and put him on your roster. Can't do that anymore because the demand is much higher than the supply. So demand, supply. Demand is I got a hole to fill. I need a left-hand hitting catcher. I need a middle of the order bat. And so you have to understand that coaches now have the ability to hit a reset button every single year. And it's not a Division I only topic. And so as you're going up this ladder of travel ball and you're thinking, okay, how do I do this? Am I on the right path? Well, everybody else is on my path, so I guess I'm in the right place. If everybody else, my grandmother used to always say, if Jimmy jumped off the building, would you jump off the building or the bridge? If Jimmy jumped off the bridge, does that mean you jump off the bridge? So everybody else is doing this because that's what we've been doing for the last 20 years. It's not the same. Not the same industries. And so what we have to do is we have to adapt, overcome, and change with the industries. Questions? Pine Ridge, Arkansas. Okay, Joshua. Wow, that's the first time I've seen Arkansas. Stressful. Stephen, very stressful. Okay, being prepared for exposure and how it could hurt. Okay, JD, that's where I'm going. So you're the best. Coach Siebert, how are you, sir? John Wells, stressful not knowing the best way to get on their radar. Is it sending emails, messaging directly on X, going to a school's prospect camp, using field level baseball blue book, thank you, baseball blue book, virtual combines? Joshua, and Josh, where are you from? John, where are you from? Josh, other than starting to go to camp, training, and weight room, what should freshmen be doing as far as reaching out to coaches? Joshua, are you asking me that question as a freshman in high school? Is that question coming from a freshman in high school? John Wells and JD. John, thank you. I saw that. I'm sorry. Texas, San Antonio. And are you asking me that? What year is your student athlete? I want to start here because we have a kind of, I'm going to paraphrase everything. Exposure or exposed. Now, that word exposure comes out of every parent and every student athlete. Exposure. I need exposure. I got to play in this event because I have to get exposure. Here's the thing. What you don't understand is 95% of college baseball now, recruiting occurs end of May through, let's say, the middle portion of August. And again, end of May through middle of July, college summer leagues, middle of July through second week in August, area codes, East Coast Pro, PBR futures, and I will say a pocket or two of tournaments in Florida and Georgia. And then we have October, which is Jupiter, which is really an exclusive event. But let's just talk about those exposure windows. You do not need to go to a college showcase as a 8th grader, 9th grader, 10th grader, even an 11th grader. Because really, truth be told, unless you are an elite, talented, hard-throwing pitcher, hard-hitting, left-handed hitting catcher, left-hand hitting middle infielder, somebody that can hit home runs, it doesn't worry about your exit velocity, bat to ball skills, and power. Is it present? Is it now? Is it a now skill? Because those are the exceptions. Those are not the rule. Resources. What does it take to become that high-level pitcher, high-level hitter, high-level defensive shortstop, elite throwing catcher? Some of it's God-given. Some of it is athleticism. Some of it is hard work. And you have to build brick by brick the foundation. You have to shut out all the noise and distractions. You have to put the blinders on. And you have to say to yourself, where am I at today? What are my skill sets? Now, I like to use the word metrics, but really the good old fashioned, am I fast? Like, am I pit bull fast? Like, if a pit bull's chasing me, am I normally like that fast? Am I fast? Or do I need to get faster? What do I weigh? What's my height and my weight? Am I ready to be seen? Do I want to be seen at 5'10" or 5'11" and 165? Or do I want to work really, really hard for the next 3.5 years and 5'11", 6 feet, 6'1", 205? Who do you think is going to get looked at? The guy that's 5'11", 205, or the guy that's 5'11", 165? And I'm not talking fat, like let's shovel in some ice cream. I'm talking about in the weight room, attention to detail, doing it every single week, and really attention to detail. My skill set, are you working by yourself? Are you off on your own, not worried about your lesson, your coach, your instructor, waiting for practice? Are you in the the garage? Are you in the backyard? Are you at the ballpark in the sandlot doing self-toss? Are you throwing balls off the wall? Are you throwing balls through a tire or into a sheet? Are you throwing into a pitchback? Are you really doing the things that are necessary? I say to a parent, your son does not play catch well. Well, what does that have to do to anything? Your son does not play catch well. It's not appealing. There's no effort. There's no movement. There's a lot of reaching. There's no foot movement. You're not centering the ball. The eyes aren't getting behind the ball. Well, what does that have to do with college baseball? Everything. Everything. A coach is looking for separators, and you don't give them a separator, you're not getting recruited. 90% of high school baseball players, just by the sheer numbers, not because coaches don't like guys, not because coaches are mean, not because they have an axe to grind. There's not enough roster spots for all the boys that think they want to play college baseball. It's not a social media thing. You're not winning a beauty pageant. You're not winning an election to student council. You have to have skill. You have to have discipline, you have to have physicality, and you have to have resiliency. So don't worry about exposure because you're going to get exposed. You're going to get exposed. So if you take, and I have so many student athletes, the young man that joined me last week, and I'm going to show you this gosh darn photo. And I had somebody that shredded me upside down from Sunday last week, and they had a good laugh at my expense. But I'm going to show you something, and I want you to see this. Now, I want you to look at that young man, Stephen, John, Joshua, JD. Look at that young man. That young man right there is 6 foot, and he might weigh 155 pounds in 2020. And I asked him to take that picture or a picture like that. Not one person on this earth, other than Kevin and Keith Reno and the Londonderry, New Hampshire high school staff, thought that that young man right there would turn into that young man right there. Now, I'm telling you that because there were 5 people that believed that young man would pitch at Vanderbilt, and none of them were me. His parents, Connor, Keith, and Kevin Reno. Why? Because he wasn't worried about exposure. He wasn't worried about showcases. He wasn't worried about perfect game there and perfect game here and where he was ranked. In fact, I don't even think he was ever ranked. But guess what? Today, that young man is he's a postseason third team All-American. He was an SEC, I think, second team pitcher. And he's in the starting rotation in the SEC because we didn't worry about exposure. We didn't worry about travel in tournaments, in showcases. We worried about size, strength, skill. changeup, locating, glove side, fastball. And he had coaches that knew who he was and they knew how hard he would work. Now, you hear it from me, but you hear it from the athletes and you hear their successes. It's not because of me. It's not because of the ideas that I give them. It's because they worked. They worked for it. They didn't chase. They chose. They got into the weight room. They got onto the caloric intake. They worried about what they were eating, how often they were eating. They worried about their sleep. They worried about their recovery, their hydration, skill set development, 1 brick a day, 1 brick a day. So this is not a exercise in chasing the rabbit or getting on the highway, the super highway of travel ball and trying to go to every perfect game event and try to get ranked and try to get an article rich. There's none of that. None. I have a young man from Ohio. 4 years ago on X, that dad asked me, okay, my son is a pitcher and he throws like 79, 82. What does he need to do? Nothing. Don't do anything. This is what I want you to focus on. And all I want you to focus on is your son has an elite arm path. He has elite pitch ability. What I want you to do is wait. When your son hits the over 85, I want you to pick a school that you think he wants to attend. Well, in their case, they chose Dayton. That was 4 years ago. Today, he's a freshman at Dayton. And he's pitched in high-level events, but he didn't chase travel baseball. He didn't chase tournaments. He didn't chase showcases. So I am trying to give you the information that the coach is trying to talk to me about, discuss with me, and share with you. College coaches, they're not the bad guys. High school coaches, also not the bad guys. There are people that want to take credit. Great. If you're an instructor and you think you invented the greatest way to hit, fantastic. Knock yourself out. I hope you sell a lot of lessons. But the number one thing you have to understand is college coaches care about one thing. Did you or didn't you execute? Simple as that. Walt, I went and watched him play. He executed. I like the kid's enthusiasm. I like his passion. He's a we guy. He's a glue guy. I like that guy. Walt, I went to see him. I waited for him to cut it loose. He never cut it loose. A couple throws in between innings, never showed me arm strength. So I can't tell you if he has the ability. And, we had JMU coach Tanner Biaggi say, look, if that shortstop doesn't cut a couple loose, I don't know if he's going to get a ground ball. I need to see it. Or catcher, I need to see it. Or if I need to see if a base runner has speed. And that's my next topic. You're an infielder, you think you're going to play shortstop. If you don't run a sub-7, the chances of you being a shortstop are slim and none, and Slim left Dodge a long time ago. So you're probably going to be a third baseman. Doesn't mean if you can't play short, you're going to automatically go to second. Anybody in the middle of the diamond has to be an elite athlete, period. End of story, full stop. Catch, short, second, center. Right field, you got to be the biggest, baddest, fastest dude on the team. Right field. Not what you think it is when somebody says go play right field. In college, you're the best athlete in the outfield. You have the strongest arm. You're the best athlete. You have really good elite foot speed. And man, you mash. You are a punisher of baseballs. Left fielder typically is the guy that doesn't have the great foot speed, doesn't have the great arm strength, but he can hit. And I need his bat in a lineup. That's your left fielder, whether he's a backup catcher, backup infielder, it doesn't matter. He's going into left field. So my point to you is you must recognize who you are and what you're capable of becoming. Because if you don't, and you say to yourself your whole life, I'm a shortstop, I'm a first baseman, I'm a starting pitcher. You might get to college and you're a relief pitcher. You might get to college, you can't play short. You go to the outfield. You might get to college, you're a second baseman, shortstop. You might become a catcher. Left-handed players, left-hand throwers, first base, probably center field. But if you don't have foot speed and you're left-handed and you can't hit for power, or you don't have elite hitting for average, a.k.a. Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, those kind of guys, elite ball, hand-eye coordination where you can hit 350, you're probably not going to play first base, third base, left field, right field. Big time power. Do you have big time power? Are you capable of big time power? Are you trying to get stronger to become a power hitter? Coaches dig the long ball. It's not just chicks. Coaches dig the tanks, but they don't want you to hit 198 and try to go big fly. They want to see you punishing baseballs, driving into gaps, driving over the wall. That's what they want to see. And I'm already past my 30 minutes, so I flunked my test today. Fennel is a great kid, a great pitcher. My son met him at Vandy Camp this summer. Right. I mean, that's a special dude right there. Do you think we go to some camp and show improvements, like throw 80 at the first camp, then throw 83 at the next camp, and then their junior year go and throw 85? Okay, Scott, love what you said about not worry. My son is a 26 sign. Absolutely. Coach Victor Rojas. Absolutely. Hastings in Nebraska. NAIA. NAIA is legit. Legit. If somebody contacts you from NAIA, you should be talking to them. Absolutely. Wish as a dad I would have simply enjoyed watching him play. Okay. Thank you, Scott. You're leading me right in. So let me start with Steven. I don't want to tell you not to go to college camps. Again, remember what I've said repeatedly, and that is if you're going to a college camp as a freshman in high school, sophomore in high school, even as a junior, if you're going there to learn and you're not visualizing or hoping that it's a recruiting event, and you're really going there to learn, to listen and learn and then implement, great. If you're going to a camp trying to impress a college coach, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it can't happen. But in today's world, here's when a coach puts his coaching glasses on, suddenly he sees 20 to 24-year-old men with big shoulders, and they are physical, and they have 3 years of eligibility left. Those are the guys. And how do they look at this junior or senior that isn't physically mature, is 17 and 18? They can't afford to dream on the amount of athletes. They can still take high school graduates and allow them to come in if you, as a parent, and more importantly, as a student athlete, are patient and you actually want to develop. Because we're led to believe that if we don't have immediate success, that somehow we're on the wrong team or we're in the wrong place, or this guy hates me, or this guy doesn't like me. Maybe he genuinely likes you and wants you to be successful, but you have to work harder. You have to get stronger. You have to get better. You have to take more reps on your own and be more self-driven with regard to your development. So, Scott, the answer to that is my personal opinion as a pitcher, until you cross that threshold of 85 to 86-ish, I wouldn't try to go to a college camp to try to impress anybody, because at 80 to like 84, those numbers are pedestrian. Now, if you have an elite secondary pitch, a Bugs Bunny changeup, a really good, strong breaking ball, something you can pair up and pitch off of, and you have a separator, meaning that's not what everybody else can do. Connor Fennell can throw a ball. He can dot a fly's behind from 60 feet, 6 inches with any pitch in any, at any count. And he knows how to mix. And you have to be able to learn sequencing and tunneling, reading hitters. But here's the secret. Connor learned how to pitch before he learned about velocity. He knew the craft of pitching. So if you're going to go to a camp and you can decelerate, say 84 on your fastball, 74 on your changeup, or you can throw a breaking ball consistently and land it for a strike, Okay, you have something to show. But again, if we're listening to all the college coaches and the coaches are basically saying, I need physically and mentally tough student athletes, and I need them to be ready when their feet hit campus. When are you, as parents, going to utilize your resources and your access to information to best prepare your student athlete? Now, I have heard from a myriad of different parents over the last few days. In fact, today, a family from Wisconsin, they mixed it up. They took a lot of bows and slings and arrows for not doing the conventional and kind of going into the weight room and kind of disappearing from the normal summer circuit. And also this year, I have a young man at Air Force Academy, did the same thing 2 years ago. Got out of the travel circuit, went to American Legion, got in the weight room, got up in the morning, did his work, had a great summer, and ended up Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, Columbia, a few different schools. He chose Air Force Academy. My point to you is we have answers, we have opportunities, but you as parents feel it's almost as if, I don't know if you've ever watched that commercial where the old fisherman puts a dollar on the end of the line and he's out there and he's kind of, whoa, you almost had it. Oh, you almost had it. Your fear of missing out, your fear of getting no exposure consumes you, it overwhelms you. But as we've always talked about, you can be exposing your son or your student athlete. I see this happen in softball. Not quite fast enough, not quite strong enough, not quite skilled enough, not there. While if this was 3 years ago, I might have had a roster spot, but not today. And there are good coaches, man. There are some really good people, like good mentors that I try to showcase. On my social medias, I always put out when the coaches are doing their camps because I think these coaches are mentors. And again, if you're looking at a camp as a learning opportunity and being surrounded by quality people, I think Greg Mamula at Delaware. I think Cooper Fouts at Louisiana Tech. I think Rick McCarty at Abilene Christian. Victor Rojas at Hastings. Dave Serrano at Johnson. Brad Shelton, who's a legend at the Cumberlands. These are mentors. They're gonna forget more tonight than I can ever know in another 50 years. And I want my student athletes, I want my sons, I want my grandchildren to be around people like that. So if you're viewing the camps as that type of learning opportunity, absolutely. But if you're solely focused on recruiting or having a coach pull your son aside, it doesn't happen for the vast majority. And so I want parents to understand that. Now, let's get back to a question that when I was asked, the whole time component. I spent, I had a car. It was a Prius, a 2007 Prius that I bought in February of 2007. My youngest son was a freshman in high school. He graduated in 2011 from high school. Between 2007 and 2017, 10 years, I put close to 1 million miles on that Prius. That is a fact. I even had Toyota reach out to me. But I tell you, we took rides from Auburn, Mass to Marietta, Georgia. We took rides to Pennsylvania. We took rides to Myrtle Beach. That car went to every SEC ballpark in the country. It would leave from New Orleans, Louisiana. It would go out to Alexandria and Eunice, Louisiana, see my oldest son. It would go to Nashville, which was an 8-hour drive there and an 8-hour drive back. Columbia, South Carolina, Oxford, Starkville, Mississippi, Gainesville, Lexington. The time that I spent as a parent, and there were days where I would find myself wishing time away. Can I just make sure my son, ends up in getting drafted again? Can I just make sure my son gets a college scholarship? All these things that I worried about as a dad. And I can remember in 2007, I had someone walk up to me in 2008 and say, "Boy, I think your son's going to be really special. I think he's going to be draftable out of high school." What? 2009, 2010, it started to pick up steam. And I'm sitting there waiting. I can't wait for the draft in 2011. Oh my gosh, he has a chance to be a draft pick. Then he was drafted. Boop. That day came and went. And suddenly it went from my windshield to my rearview mirror. And every single day got further and further and further away. And now my sons are 33 and 35. And that rearview mirror of all the college games, of all the college practices and tailgates, the big moments, the College World Series, the SEC tournaments, I did not take the time to enjoy and be present. And I don't want you as a parent to ever regret saying, man, oh man, it's senior year. My son's a junior. My son's a senior. He's on varsity. Whoa. Enjoy those high school years. And I want you to each and every day, because I get parents all the time, especially this time of year, and the seniors from 2025 high school and now freshmen in college. Geez, that went by quick. Man, I miss those days where, he would get in the car, we'd talk about practice. Now he's, 800 miles away, 500 miles away. I don't see him all the time. He calls me once a week. Time is a resource. You're trading and giving away time. And I'm not talking about the little boy time. I'm talking about this time when our 14 to 18-year-olds need us most in this confusing world. We don't need to validate them. We need to educate them. We don't need to protect them from failing. We need to protect them from not knowing how to get up when they fall or when they fail. Because the game is a two-way street. Those that have been humbled or those that will be humbled. And mentally, we need to teach our children at 14 to 18 to be resilient, to respond, to compete. That is what these years of 14 to 18 need to be about. Don't worry about your hitting lessons. Don't worry about your pitching lessons. There's no such thing. Before there were lessons, before there were facilities, before all of this, that industry that was created, before all of that, how did those players become so talented? How did they play at such a hard level? How did they compete? How did they try out and get cut? They recognized really quick that if they were going to get better, they had to work at it. And they had to be self-taught, self-disciplined. And they had to surround themselves with quality people, quality mentors. And in the 10-2s, and every parent that watches this today or in the future, you should get a big piece of white athletic tape. And on your son or daughter's bedroom door, I want you to write the following 10 words, the following 10-2s. And I used to do this with my youngest son, Tyler. And I used to put it on his bedroom door. And every morning and every night on both sides of the door, when he shut the door and went down to do homework or lay down, on the inside and on the outside as he was walking into his bedroom. If it is to be, it is up to me. 10 words, 10 two-letter words, and you as parents need to write it on the mirror in the bathroom, on the bedroom door. I want you to write it on your locker at school. I want you to write it on your gym bag. I want you to write it on your visor. If it is to be, it is up to me. Don't blame anybody else. Don't tell somebody, well, this guy gypped me. This guy didn't do this. That guy didn't do that. If it is to be, it is up to me. Powerful. Are you living that? Are you doing that as a parent? Are you doing that as a student athlete? Those student athletes that work with me, those families that work with me, I ask them all the time, when you checked in today with the guy in the glass, what did he tell you? I didn't focus on my eating last week. I kind of got lazy. I slept in first couple weeks of school. I got homework or I'm sleeping. I'm not going to bed till late. If it is to be, it is up to me. So let's revamp. And I want parents. Okay, let's see. My son committed to a Division I program in Rhode Island after his sophomore year in high school. He was good and had a great fall ball. He just wasn't strong enough. Ended up sitting 2 years in JUCO, got bigger and got better, and he's back in Division I. He's going to be battling for a spot this season. He's more prepared than ever. But even where he's at now, nothing is guaranteed. Okay. PCJ Gus. Um, Parents, I don't know if you can read that. And I'm going to read it again because I want to emphasize one sentence and I want you to hear this. My son committed to a Division I program after his sophomore year in high school. He was good and he had a great fall ball that year. He just wasn't strong enough. He just wasn't strong enough. Ended up sitting a year. Then he had to do 2 years in JUCO, got bigger, and now he got better. He's back in Division I. He just wasn't strong enough. If it is to be, it is up to me. Break out the white tape, get the black tape, put it on the bedroom door on the inside and the out, put it on the bathroom mirror, put it on the gym bag, the locker at school. This is a process that people want to see your student athletes succeed. But college baseball is not for the mediocre. College baseball is not for the mediocre. Let me say that again. You're a good high school player. I get guys that are talking about college. They haven't played a varsity inning yet. How about we work hard to get onto the varsity lineup? That's a start. Now, there are great high schools all across this country, high schools that have traditions. They're big states: California, Texas, Florida, Louisiana. It's Georgia, Mississippi. It's hard to play varsity baseball at those schools as freshmen and sophomores. But as juniors, how close are you really to starting? Because that's a signal. Okay, you want to play Division I baseball, but you haven't played varsity baseball yet, and then you want to tell me that your travel team is better than your high school team? I'm not buying that. The realities are college coaches do not want mediocre players. And by that, I mean they want hardworking, hard, tough minded, competitive, confident, strong baseball players. How strong are you? How mentally tough are you? How mentally disciplined are you? What's your daily routine? How often do you just procrastinate and say, I'll do that tomorrow? Nobody's watching and nobody cares. So the purpose of these lives isn't for me to sit here and pontificate about what I can do this, you can do that. No, it's about educating you about the realities of today, not what happened yesterday and what happened years ago and what happened with my son, and nothing that had to do with my son matters to you. What matters to you is reacting today to make your student athlete better tomorrow. Period. End of story. I don't compete with all these people who want to come at me with, I do elite recruiting service. I do that and this. Perfect game. Why do I bring that up? Perfect Game owns more than you think they own. And it's bigger than you think it is. Why do you think NCSA has access to your email address? Why do you think NCSA emails your student athlete? How did they get that email address? Why do you think people send your student athlete a direct message? A lot of student athletes put their phone numbers. Why do you think those guys text them? Hey, I saw your video on X and you remind me a lot of myself when I was a player, and I can help you for $9,000. I think you're a college caliber athlete because they know you. It's like anything else in life. If you're hungry and you think, well, I can get a cheeseburger at McDonald's for 99 cents, but you're not near a McDonald's and the only guy selling hamburgers and you haven't eaten in a week and he's selling them for 10 and you have $10 and a penny in your pocket, you're gonna eat the cheeseburger that's there for $10. We do it at ballparks all over the country. I can go into the store and get a bottle of water for 99 cents, but at the ballpark it's $8 or $7. If I'm thirsty, I got to pay $8 for the bottle of water. You keep putting out there, I want to play college baseball. My DMs are open. Reach out, uncommitted, be uncommitted, uncommitted this, uncommitted that. Help me, help me, help me. That's not what you need. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I've gone longer than my hour. I really, really, really hope, I sincerely hope these videos don't help with a business. They don't help do anything with regard to YouTube channel because they're too long and most people only watch them for 2 minutes. That's a fact. But I do this for those 400 or 500 parents that basically find their way to the end and go, that might be the way to go. And I've heard from those people over the last few weeks, and it really makes my insides feel good, like I'm helping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. I want you to know that the college coaches are not the bad guy. High school coaches, not the bad guy. I do not dislike travel baseball or the people that run travel ball organizations. I do not think you are getting the bang for the buck with regard to the perfect game, rankings, subscriptions, tournaments, showcases, the USSSA, all the uniforms you're buying for the 8U team. I mean, what 10U, 8U kid really needs to play 60 games in a summer? Come on. But your money, your time, your resources, you do what you like. Now, I'm going to conclude tonight by saying thank you so much for those that take the time. I'm asking you to really do 2 things. Can you spread the word about the YouTube channel? I now have my new website, which is officially open. There's all sorts of free content, thousands of hours of free content, podcasts, audio books. It's all on my website. You know why? Because nobody wanted to do it on YouTube. And so I'm just going to give it away. Things that I recorded 100 pounds ago and years ago are even more relevant today. It's all on the website. You can listen to it at your leisure. You can hear all the Coaches Corner discussions. I'm putting that out there. CoachBeede.com. Take a visit. Let me know what you think. Spread the word about the YouTube channel. If wherever you're going to watch this, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, please go to the YouTube channel, YouTube Coach Beede. Subscribe. Do you know that 90% of people that watch the YouTube channel are not subscribers? If I just went 50-50, I'd have about 50,000 subscribers. That's free. It's absolutely free. And we have exciting partnerships coming out so that you'll be getting other stuff free, access to other people free. And all I want you to do is engage with the videos. Like if you see a short, hit a thumbs up, leave me a comment. You see one of these long, boring videos, just hit a thumbs up and just leave me a comment. Try to encourage 2 friends this week to subscribe to Coach Beede and leave a comment. I'm very grateful to those families that are emailing me at walter@coachbeede.com. I'm really happy that we can spend time talking together. We do evaluations. We do a 1-hour stream call. We talk about your student athlete. We do more than just talk about batting average and pitching velocity. We talk about a plan. And I'm appreciative to those parents that have spent time with me this week. I hope you have a great week. I hope that you learn from these types of discussions. I really want to say thank you to Proline Balls. Coaches, do yourself a favor. If you have a travel facility, a training facility, you're a college coach, you're a high school coach, you use a hack attack, you use a jugs machine, you want Proline balls. I promise you. Just jumped on, but looking forward to watching the whole thing. Sean, thank you so much. Michael Brooks. Hello, Michael. Michael Brooks, one of the best young hitters I've seen in the last 30 years. College coaches, take that as a cue. Michael Brooks, Florida. John Wells, don't care about YouTube. Thank you so much. Put the sign on the door. Well, there you go. Arizona has a sign on the door. Thank you very much. Great session. JD, there you go. Stephen, thank you so much. And PC in Rhode Island, I want to say thank you for sharing your story. Scott, thank you for sharing your story. Joshua, thank you. Coach Siebert, thank you. Jackson, thank you for joining me from San Antonio. Chip, the umpires are your kid's best advocate. They all talk to each other and coaches. Now, okay, one quick shout out to Chip. Chip is absolutely 1,000% accurate. College coaches will always ask umpires. They ask them about body language. They ask them about competitiveness. They ask them about resiliency. Umpires are actually some of the best evaluators of skill. They see a lot of games. If you're a catcher and you're not introducing yourself to the umpire, looking him in the eye and saying, "Hi, my name is Walter. Pleasure to meet you. Jim, pleasure to meet you. I want you to let me know if I'm in your way. If I need to move, just let me know." Every inning, Blue, do you need a water? Blue, how's my target? Blue, do I need to do anything? If you treat umpires with respect, they're going to treat you with respect. They're not going to give you anything, but they're going to be your biggest advocate. Always remember that. Tonight, I really enjoyed my time. Have a great week in school. If there's anything I can do, Walter at CoachBeede.com. Have a great week in school, a great week in baseball. Keep the emails coming.